Hey everyone, welcome back to another Diablo 4 video. Time around, it's my level 100 update. And guys, I really made it happen. This is basically my setup from the very first video. It's the Thorns, Dust Devil, Proc Barb. But in the level 100 variant now. So let's check out my godly gear here. I'm using the Iron Warrior aspect on the helm. This build has 100% unstoppable uptime pretty much, so wrath control effects are non-existent. I have cooldown reduction here, very important. I would say the most important is cooldown reduction on the helm. The next one, Razor Blade, I finally found one. I killed 20 plus Lord's Ears and I haven't got one. This dropped from a 2-star Blood Maiden with the Mind Cage, with the new consumable. The gloves. The most important for me, I was super lucky with these gloves. The most important for me here is attack speed. To get the buffs faster from Frenzy and also proc more Dust Devils with Frenzy. The aspect here is shout skills generate 3 Dust Devils. That's how I one-shot literally every elite pack that I ever encounter. Grab him, then I have this very short nuke window. If possible, like... Sometimes I just spam my cooldowns, okay, don't get me wrong. But if I need to, I play it a little bit more cautiously. And I grab him, and I one-shot them with with 9 Dust Devils, excuse me, because one shout drops 3. And I scale up the dust damage in the Paragon board and on my gear. More about that in a second. With perfect rolls, I could get up to 1000% Dust Devil damage multiplier, which is crazy. Moving on to the pants here, they make me super tanky because each point of Purify generated while at maximum Fury grants me Fortify. On the two-hander here, I have the Needle Flare to get the Thorns Reflect. Oh, by the way, I've 80k life unbuffed and my unbuffed Thorns damage is around 44k. So absolutely necessary to have Needle Flare to get the 360. It's 80k Thorns only with the shout. This is without consumable. So I said actually just for fun, road to 100k Thorns. I might have it, I might be at 100k. Moving on to the weapons. I really appreciate the damage to health here on those axes. I think it's a really nice stat to have for Thorns. Because you pull them, then they are still healthy. And the moment they hit you, they get one shot. Like, it's a really nice multiplier, but not as good against bosses. The aspects here, I have Rapid and Moonrise to, again, be faster with Frenzy. Just a good old Frenzy Barb. The Rose on here, or preferably the Temperings on here rather, would say Dust Devil damage. I have a Grandfather here, holy moly, I did never anticipate in running around with all of those Uber uniques. These items basically don't exist for me in a game. Like, for real, please let me know in the comments how can I make the best use out of this weapon, because it's almost a shame I abuse this only as a stat stick for life. Not really that great for my build. I will never ever hit someone with this, so... moving on to the jewelry. I have Death Wish on the ring here instead. Before Grandfather I had it on the two-hander here, right? Gain more Thorns while berserking. The other ring is the Bold Chieftain. Probably one of the best aspects for the Barbarian if you ask me. So the shouts basically reset themselves. Most of the time there are a lot of monsters nearby. So really nice aspect, and maybe it's just my RNG. But this seems to be rare as well. I only found 2 of those aspects so far. The amulet and my build revolves a little bit around the Dust Devils, right? I'm well aware that this is not a S tier build by any means, but I wanted to play this. I wanted to make this class fantasy work. I want just to be my super tanky season 1 Thorns Barb and implementing the new stuff. And yeah. Therefore, I have the Devilish on the amulet. After generating 100 Fury, my next damage creates 2 Dust Devils. So Frenzy rocks Dust Devils like crazy. That's how that works. Yep, that's the gear. Yeah, I already showed you the stats. Oh, also, very worth mentioning, I'm not armor capped, nor do I have full resistance. Okay? But... I don't know, man, it just doesn't matter. With a life pool like this, I would estimate with perfectly masterwork gear, 12 out of 12 everywhere, would easily have 100k life unbuffed. Easily with this build. It's absolutely ridiculous how tanky you can get. As the weapon expertise here still is vulnerable damage. I also have vulnerable damage in the weapons. Because, yeah, Frenzy deals no damage. I don't boost its damage with the topazes. I rather have the Dust Devils deal more damage, and vulnerable damage works great for that. Let's talk about the skill tree here for a brief second. Only 4 into Frenzy to unlock Combat Frenzy, where I get the damage reduction from. Might was a really good combo. Like Combat Frenzy and the aspect Might is really nice. But yeah, I had it on the helm before. Like before I had Razorblade, I had the Iron Skin one on the chest piece and Might on the helm. But I kicked out Might and it made absolutely no difference for me. Absolutely no difference. I felt not squishy, so my DR seems to be sufficient enough. Yeah, only 4 here to unlock the next skills. Mixing out the passives to get tanky. More life. DR against elites. 1 into Rallying Cry, into Strategic Rallying Cry. Sometimes I use Tactical Rallying Cry. I haven't decided yet which one I like more. I could proc more Dust Devils with this, which means more damage output. This, on the other hand, makes me more tanky. I use Iron Skin with the heal here. Really, really nice. I was using the strategic one for a very long time, but I decided for the heal. Because, yeah, like I pull a monster, I fight the pack. And the moment I move on to the next pack, I'm fully healed up without even using a potion or anything. Of course, maxing the passives, another Thorns part without them, right? I prioritize Tough as Nails a little bit on my gear. If this is the very best, is up for debate. I one point into Shelling Shot, or especially this one, to get like the huge boost. That's how I almost double my Thorns, right? Within the stat sheet, because of this note here. 3 into Swiftness, so the barb runs not as slow as it usually does. Into Mighty Warcry here from Warcry. Mix out the Warcry stuff, Warcry. I don't use Raid Leader, I'm mostly a solo player, but I'm about to kill a Red Boss. So I'd be as well heal the bodies a little bit. Maxing out aggressive resistance. The build has a lot of berserk uptime, not 100% anymore, but nice to have DR. Maxing Pit Fighter for damage to close enemies. Probably one of the best multipliers. I have a little bit more points into Steel Grasp because the skill tree ended up like this. And it reduces the cooldown. Like it's just a second or half a second. But it really helps in terms of just gameplay flow. And the important one is fight the Steel Grasp here. This is the main source of berserk. And also makes them vulnerable. Where this very short nuke window comes in. You pull them. Boom. All of a sudden everything's online. All the buffs. With like 70% of the Paragon board kicks in all of a sudden, right? Because of all of the damage while berserking and so on by click of a button. Then I nuke them by pressing 3 shouts, preferably. And they proc 9 Dust Devils. They are not dead already. Well, I'm a Thorns buff with Razorblade too, so if they are not dead already, I stack up Frenzy, which procs. It's a nice build. I love it. Yeah, and the Keystone passive here is Unconstrained. Because as I said, it rolls around berserking and it's a flat damage buff here. Moving on to the Paragon board, I'm running 5 glyphs. The first one is Vulnerable. And I maxed out Vulnerable in terms of all the dex nodes here. The first or the second board, however you want to look at it, is Carnage. And I use the Ranch glyph here. This is just a debuff. Like the mobs basically cast a debuff on themselves. They hit me, they get Thorns Reflect. And increases all other damage they take, which means Thorns Devil damage is increased. Yeah, as I mentioned, the whole Paragon board kicks in the moment I press Steel Grasp. All the Berserker nodes here. Next board, Bone Breaker. Inner Strength is ridiculous. This is like almost like a glyph, like a mini glyph. I'm pretty much always fortified and I'm pretty much always healthy. The moments I'm not healthy anymore, probably got one shot anyways. I'm using Territorial in this board. Was a little bit awkward to spec into this, not gonna lie, but it worked out. It's unlocked. Next one is Decimator. Really appreciated this one. When I spec'd into this, I was around level... I don't really remember, like 80, 90 something. There was like the bro, I got us back into a new board now. Well, I only get some basic stats, it's awful. And having a multiplier like this right off the get-go is really nice. Yeah, that's where all the damage comes from. That's how I can literally one-shot all the elite packs with like a few presses of a button. Like, it's so wrong. Let's say Helltide. A juiced up Helltide, like the tier 5 Helltide, whatever, Mind Cage, all the good stuff. Blood Maiden spawns its minions. You grab him, and if I time the cooldowns right, like I grab him and I press these 9 Dust Devils in their face, and they are almost dead. Almost dead. Like, it's good damage, okay? For just a passive effect. Like, I don't really have... I don't have an ability on my bard that says press Dust Devil. This is just what happens while attacking, while moving, while using the other skills. I think, yeah, as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm really happy how my build ended up. The last board is Blood Rage, and the last glyph is here Imbibber. Nice web boss fight. Last board is Imbibber. Yeah, that's a really good legendary node. One of the only ones that really benefits the Thorns Barbarian. But it's a self-fulfilling condition in this build. Really cool. This buff is just up all the time because every monster that dies at bleeding because of the passive from Tough as Nails. Yeah, that's the build. That's my level 100 setup. It struggles single target. Like, for example, Thorns doesn't do much anymore against the Tormented boss. Like, as soon as the monsters get way higher level than me, around... I'm in the pit tier 60. Like, I can click on any random tier 100 and go. Sometimes the boss is a problem and or takes forever. That's one thing. Absolutely skip ghosts. Absolutely skip dungeons with Tomblords at the end. Things like this. Like, no brainer. I'm at the pit tier 60. The pit itself is not a problem, but the boss fight takes forever again. Tormented boss, I tried Tormented Lordzier, the desperation for a good razor blade, I know. But yeah, I absolutely got clapped. So the thing with Thorns is, it's good, it's viable. At a certain point, just Thorns is not enough anymore. And there seems to be, I don't know if it's the right term in this context, but there seems to be like a hidden diminish and return. How Thorns damage works against monsters, the higher level they get, if that makes sense. And yeah, at a certain point, I would have to implement something else. But that's not what I wanted to do. I want to be a Thorns Barb, right? I don't want to be a Whirlwind Barb with a razor blade. I don't want to be a Bash Barb with a razor blade. I wanted to be a Thorns Barb rocking Dust Devils. And yeah, that's the build I ended up with. Thanks for watching. Feel free to give it a like, consider subscribing, and please let me know, what should I do with this grandfather? Should I level a Necromancer, backing into Whirlwind? Thanks for watching again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.